Is the mic on? Yeah, I think so. Okay, there's been a small change of plan, so I have to change accordions. We were going to do Edelweiss, but I'm going to play on the Roland. It's electronic with different sounds. So I'm going to play, what's the name of it? Una Paloma Blanca. And I'm sure some of you haven't heard of it because it's probably about 50 years old. But anyway, I'm sure you'll like it. It's one of my favorite songs. So here we go.
If you happen to be a minister, and at the congregation that you serve on the first Sunday of the month, the tradition is to have a guest musician from the local community come and play, and were you to wonder about sounds that we've not heard in the sanctuary before, you might think about the accordion. And then, if you were that minister, you might wonder where accordion players would gather in Bend or how you'd find one. So you might look this up on the internet and find that there's a Facebook group of accordion players here in Bend. And were you to reach out to that Facebook group, Linda Cloudis would be the person who reaches back to you. And if you were to make an invitation to this person named Linda, you might find yourself in the Deschutes River Woods Country Store parking lot on a Thursday morning with Linda sitting in a chair, playing songs for you as you listen, and notice that people are coming out of the coffee shop, people are coming to listen because the sounds are so infectious floating over the air. If that were to happen, you would then invite Linda to play on a Sunday morning with you. Linda has been playing the accordion for over 17 years. She found it at a Buckwheat Zydeco concert and thought, well, I want to do that. And so she did. She went to Central Oregon College of Education, Oregon College of Education, and studied piano, and then transferred those skills over to the accordion years later. We are delighted to have her here with us this morning, playing what the choir director at the congregation I served in Pittsburgh called, by far, the hardest instrument there is to learn. It's wonderful to have you with us here, Linda. Our opening reading is from the Reverend Mark Morrison Reed, and he reminds us that the central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amidst the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. And once felt, this relationship inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice, but we are a religious community, and that is essential. For alone, our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. But together, our vision widens, and our strength is renewed.
Please rise in body and spirit as you are able, and join us in singing our opening song, Here We Have Gathered. Here we have gathered, gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime, matter small and great. We of all ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us. As we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
Top of the morning to all of you here and all of you zooming in with us on this beautiful June day. I'm Marty Rudolph, and I am delighted to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon, where we will be exploring our June Soul Matters theme of flourishing together. As you already know, we are an inclusive community, but as of Friday night's dinner, I would add that we are a very grateful community. A community that appreciates and welcomes you regardless of what you bring, be it a heavy heart, an angry head, maybe a need, Maybe you need to connect, a need to listen, to sing, to worship, to meditate. Maybe you just need to make coffee or pull cheatgrass. You are welcome and you belong here regardless of your age, your race, your income, your gender, your politics, your sexuality. You are welcome here and you belong here wherever your spiritual journey took root, be it theist, atheist, agnostic, humanist, more spiritual than religious, or maybe just seeking your own path. Today, together, may we root ourselves in the values of this faith with love at the center.
My name is John McKee, and my wife Jenny McKee is lighting our chalice today. Our chalice lighting words are from Maria Popova. Perfection is a cage of judgment in which we lay down and suffer in vain, dead to delight. The challenge of liberty is opening the heart to the terror of feeling, conscious enough to avoid common traps of thought, refusing to prefer to be sure over being surprised.
Please join in our chalice response, Spirit of Life. Stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth, and it is time for our Time for All Ages. So if you are young or young at heart, we invite you to find your way to the rug for our exploration today.
And I'm going to move our rug over here a little bit so that we can talk to Linda about this amazing accordion she has. Oh, sorry, there we go. All right. We talked to you about your accordion? Yeah, I'm going to ask you some questions about it for the kids.
Okay.
Yeah? Either one. Either one. So this one then, I guess. Well, I'll...
Plays Oregon Sound.
Jackson.
All right. Thank you, Paula.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you.
Good morning, good morning.
What did you think about our accordion this morning? Has anybody ever heard an accordion before? You've heard one before? Did you guys ever hear an accordion before, or is that a new instrument?
I've heard an accordion before.
Yeah.
You've heard one
Yeah.
before?
Sounds like a pig.
It does kind of sound like a pig sometimes. I could see that. I could see how you would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Linda has come to play accordion for us, and I am curious to learn a little bit about the accordion. Linda, first off, that looks very heavy. How heavy is an accordion?
Well, this one is 25 pounds, and it has a beautiful sound. They kept telling me, get a smaller one, and I found a smaller one just like it. It didn't have half the sound.
Okay.
Enough about that one. You'll hear it again when I play Edelweiss.
Fantastic.
This one is only 19 pounds, and I can stand up with it.
So it looks like a piano on this side, doesn't it?
Right.
But it's a piano sitting opposite than Paula's piano keys, right? Paula, will you play some notes? It sounds different than the piano. Interesting.
Sound different.
We want organ. We press a couple buttons here. We have a beautiful organ sound.
Oh. Fantastic. And what are these other the other fingers over here doing? You're on your left hand.
Okay.
That's a whole other set of buttons.
Playing a chord, C chord. Turn it up. Not making much of a sound. Okay. Well, okay. They play the chords. Let's see. Let's try. It will make a little bit of a drum sound.
It makes drum sounds
Ah.
too. That's so
It's got a drum in there.
Or you can go to another chord.
She's playing a boogie woogie, I think.
It's like playing drums, but all you have to do is tap a note.
That's really cool. You play drums?
Fantastic. So, how many? How many keys are on this side?
This one has about 36. This one has about 41.
Okay, and Paula, how many does yours have? 88. Okay. Now, will you play one note for us, Paula? Will you play one note for us, Linda? Well, that's one note, right? You can only do so much with one note, right? Paula, you play your note again? Doesn't sound much like a song, does it? Linda, you play one note again? What if there was only one note? What if there were no more notes? How much fun would that be? Not very fun. Boring, exactly right. But what if there were a lot more notes and a lot more possibilities? That'd be better, right?
There are.
There are, that's right, and there are.
Why you can't say what if?
Oh, okay, you're right. If there are, then I can't say what if. Well, I can pretend there's only one. But you're right, there are many more. What if there was only one way of thinking? What if everyone had the same thoughts? What if every single one of you this morning, by the time you got here, had the exact same thoughts as everybody else? And what if you all had the exact same thought? What if there's only one way of being human, one way of thinking, one story, one idea, one belief system? Does that sound like very much fun? No, not at all. In fact, it's the fact that you all think in your own ways and explore, and you have your own bodies and you have your own ideas. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes each one of you precious, and that's what makes all the different ways that people think about religion also exciting and different, because humans have lots of different ways about thinking about the big things, like where we came from and where we're going and what's life about, and oh my goodness. And humans over the time have decided different ways of thinking serve different people, sometimes in different parts of the country or the world. And you know what I would say to that? Thank goodness. And as Unitarian Universalists, we do all that inside our one congregation. We have all kinds of different ways of thinking about what we believe and how to be and who we are. And that makes it so much more interesting than one note. And it turns it into and that's what it's like to hold diversity and difference among us. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Linda. And thank you all for being different. You already know that?
We
Oh, okay.
go to school.
Oh, well, good.
We're going to go celebrate the ways that we are the same and different in our RE space today, but before we go, we need to say our children's covenant. Let's say it together. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. Please rise and form the arch as we send our friends to RE.
Rejoice around you as you go.
Go in peace. Know our love is with you always. as you go, as you go, as you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace, know our love is with you always as you go, as you go.
Good morning. My name is Laura Pitney, and I am the engagement coordinator here at UUFCO. Wow, it has been a busy few weeks. So many things have been happening in our fellowship to build fellowship and build community. The families went camping, and the camping group went camping, and there was the Pride Festival yesterday, which was incredible, and we saw so many folks there, and there was a big celebration here for all the service that people have done in this fellowship on Friday night. That happened here, and I mean, it's just on and on. The Fireflies presented their books to the kids in at Juniper, and they all signed this adorable poster for all the Fireflies. I mean, it's just, it's on and on and on. So thank you for everything that everyone does as a leader, as a participant, as an idea generator, as a doer, and as a busy person in the kitchen, any of the things that you do. Thank you for helping make this place so vibrant. I have a couple of announcements about things that are coming up. Let's see, things that are coming up are, as you leave today, pick up your things as you go. You may have seen tables out there. That's because over the course of the year, through events or services or whatever, you maybe leave things. So they have been lost, and they are ready to find their home again. And if they aren't picked up this Sunday or next Sunday, we will be donating them. So don't worry, they're not going in the trash. They'll find some home somewhere else. After coffee hour at around 11:30 in the conference room, there's an info session happening being led by Marilyn Formica about women aging together. So if you'd like to find out about what that series is going to be like, stop in there at 11:30. And then on Thursday, our very own artist, Barbara Cella, is having a solo art show, full color. The show goes up today, and on Thursday, there will be a reception. So please come have some snacks, show your love for this artist who is part of our community. See her show and support her. Oh, and then on Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, that's the 14th, is the flower ceremony. So, Scott, do people bring flowers?
Yes.
Bring flowers!
They don't have to. We'll have flowers too.
You can bring your own flower from your garden or that you purchase, or we will have some flowers here, and we're going to do a little ceremony in service, giving and receiving of flowers, and then afterwards there will be a potluck. And I really encourage you to stay for the potluck, and it will be like a full lunch, not just sweets. And if you could bring food for the potluck, that would be great. You can sign up for that at the kiosk or through our weekly newsletter. And coming early to help set up or sticking around afterwards to clean up would be very welcome too. So thank you in advance for that. And then the last thing I will say is that I sent out 2 emails for Soul Matters, and they had the wrong subject line. They also had the wrong header. And then they had the right body with the correct link. So if you got an email that says Soul Matters for April, and then you opened it and said Soul Matters for May, not to worry, because it is the June Soul Matters. See you next week.
Each month throughout the year, the Greater Community Collection Team selects and hosts a local nonprofit organization that aligns with the 7 values of Unitarian Universalism, with love at the center. The chosen organization receives the congregational offering at the first Sunday service of the month. This month's recipient is the Latino Community Association. Please welcome Rowan Jones, Immigration and Advocacy Manager, who will speak briefly about the mission of their organization.
Hi, everybody. My name's Rowan Jones. I use they, them, and they pronouns, and as they just said, I'm the Immigration and Advocacy Program Manager with the LCA. But it's not just me, it's also...
Hi, everybody. My name is Carmina Morgado, and I'm the Advocacy Coordinator.
So, first of all, thank you all very much for sharing your space with us. This is absolutely gorgeous. Our mission at LCA is to empower Latina families across Central Oregon, not just to survive, but to thrive. We do wraparound services for people of a myriad of different backgrounds, of different countries, of different languages, and different socioeconomic statuses. There's no one story for the families with whom we work, so we need to tailor our services to every single person. And that's why we often say we do a little bit of a lot at LCA. We do healthcare work, we connect people to affordable housing, small business development, language classes, climate resilience resources, and of course, our free immigration legal services. But in order to access these services, in order to feel safe taking their kids to school, or going to a birthday party, or going to the doctor, people need to see a system that protects them and values them. And that's exactly why we've launched our advocacy program in the past few years, to resist the evil that we're seeing, to build the good and the new that we want for the world, and to do it all through an organized and empowered community. I'm gonna let Carmina share a little bit about the work that we're doing, and then I'll wrap us up.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Well, as at our advocacy team, we have to focus in two different areas or two different languages. For our Latino community, we offer workshops in Spanish, like Know Your Rights. In this workshop, they learn what are their rights and what to do if they have an encounter with ICE, but also like what kind of documents they might need if for some reason they cannot take care of their kids, like who is going to take care of them. And very often, we suggest that it's a citizen, and they don't have a lot of friends that are citizens that they can trust their kids. So that tells us a lot. And we also offer trainings for the allies, the people that want to help, to be part of the rapid response or our accompaniment program, to drive these people that are very stressed, are very scary, to go to their check-ins in Portland or Medford or Eugene, or their courts. Since we started this program, we have had a lot of success, but also a lot of bridges been built between both of us, both of these communities, that most of the time there's not a lot of relationship in this town. So we have to build more bridges like that.
Thank you so much, Carmina. I know some of you may be thinking, wow, this sounds really, really incredible. How do I support? How do I get involved? How do I find this purpose, this shared purpose? First of all, if you want to volunteer, if you have time, if you have any skill set, please come visit us at the table back during the coffee hour. We'll be happy to get you connected. And secondly, because this is a fundraising opportunity, thank you so much, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our Amigos program. As you all probably have heard, federal funding has been brutally cut for every program that does a human good, which means, yes, as I thought. Which also means that state funding suffers, and state funding is where we get a lot of support for our really, really crucial programs. We knew this was coming, so we're diversifying our funding base. We want to make sure we can pay our staff and keep all our programs running. But that does mean we need support from individual donors. And that doesn't just mean the person who has $50,000 to drop. We want everybody on board, and we want to be accountable and in this work with you all. So we are making an ask today for those who can to join our Amigos program. That's $25 a month or $300 annually. They do the same thing. And we're trying to get 1,000 people to join this year to cover this funding gap. So if that is within your means or within your friends' means, please come over and check out our table. And thank you all so much for your support.
Okay, ushers, this is your clue.
Always so refreshing to hear Paula play the piano, isn't it? This congregation is a congregation of people, and as such, we have lives. And as such, we have joys, and we have sorrows, and we have gratitudes throughout our lives and throughout our weeks. And so we share those here on Sunday mornings. We have these at our kiosk if you'd like to fill them out and have them read at our service. Or if there's just something on your heart today that you'd like to light a candle for in silence, please feel free to do that as I'm reading these. Nick Jordan shares, "A joy for my sister who just graduated. She'll be studying international relations and modern languages at the University of Edinburgh. Yeah, okay, that's fine. This September. Moving on, this September. I'm so proud and excited to see her next adventures." Noemi shares that I am happy to share that the Bulletin has a new reporter. If you run into Emily around town, say hello. All right. Noemi, what's Emily's last name? Rogers. Emily Rogers. Welcome to Bend Bulletin, Emily Rogers, wherever you might be this morning. Unless you're here. It's not here, is she? It's not sitting with you? Okay, no. All right. Diane Darling shares a joy that I did another brave thing yesterday. I participated in my first performance with the Ellipse Theater Company here in town, and now I feel confident enough to participate again in the future. This is my year of doing brave things. Well done. Wow. Check in with us. I'm curious what more brave things you will do this year. Emily and Blaine say, "Thank you for everyone that came to Pride yesterday to show how important it is for everyone to feel loved. Every day, queer kids question whether it's worth the struggle to be their authentic selves. So showing up for them, for us, means more than you know. Thank you, Emily and Blaine, for organizing our Pride booth. Sue Wilhelm shares joy and a gratitude for 52 years of marriage to my man of integrity, intelligence, empathy, and love, Jack. I'm just kidding. That's not... Sue is married to Ken Wilhelm. Happy anniversary. Where are you all? Happy anniversary. And just get comfortable. We have a lot this morning. Ann Wood shares a joy and a gratitude. Bob and I celebrated our 61st, not one-upping the Wilhelms back there, but wedding anniversary yesterday. How could two 22-year-old kids even imagine the scope and the richness of the life that we have? I am grateful to share my life and love with this sweet man. Susan Kinney is sending love and prayers to Gail Kamna, who is having surgery tomorrow. Indeed, those go alongside all of ours. Marilyn Cohenzitzer, she is appreciative for our outstanding departing board members and for the ones coming on in July. Indeed, all of us outgoing board members being Heather and Mark and Jazz. Sally Batchelder, I don't have my glasses. Please wish me luck as I take my husband's remains to the Nevada State Park to be released with the other old fossils. He helped build and dig that park in 1955 through 1958. His last request. What a sweet place to put his remains. Gwen Baker Ewell shares, I'm so grateful for the NICU team at St. Charles and at OHSU. My twin grandbabies arrived at 27 weeks and 27 week and 2.5 pounds each. Whew. One baby was flown to Portland for surgery, but they are now stable and doing well. Hooray for modern medicine. Absolutely. But I can't imagine how scary that was. Donna Dobkin shares a joy and a gratitude. Thanks to everyone for the Community Service Award on Friday night at our volunteer appreciation dinner. I was shocked and overjoyed. My service to Unitarian Universalism and to the community is part of my spiritual practice. And Gwen Weisling shares, I'm grateful for the amazing individuals and teams who lead our congregation, the behind-the-scene board members, committee members who create the budget and a canvas for our work of art here at UUFCO. Indeed, so many unsung people make this place happen. I am so happy to be back here, writes Marilyn Formica. Both my knee and wrist docs say that the bones are fully healed, and I am progressing very well in my PT and hand therapy. Many thanks for the supportive notes I received during my recuperation. I am so grateful for it, all in caps. We're grateful for you, Marilyn. And Stephanie Burnett shares a gratitude from the other coast. She was with her mother. Gratitude for the life of my mother, Karen, who died on Friday. And gratitude for the love and support of this community over the past month as I traveled to be with her. I don't know if you're watching, Stephanie, but our hearts are with you over there. Let us take a moment of silence and hear some spoken words of meditation preceding those. These words are by D. Scott Cooper. As he imagines a path. We bow our heads in order to imagine not one path, but many. We imagine a path forward for those who cannot imagine any path forward because of poor health, financial hardship, family crisis, or other roadblocks we cannot begin to understand or imagine. We struggle to imagine a path forward for those who are forced to leave a homeland against their will, for those unable to leave a war-torn homeland despite their lives being in danger. We imagine a path forward for those who leave their homes to make a better life for their families. We come together to imagine a path forward for those of us despairing, because we do not seem to know our country nor our neighbors, despite the fact that we have not moved at all. May we be the good we are hoping to find as we travel side by side down this path toward hope. We imagine a path for those who feel lonely, and we take one another's hands as we walk this path toward community. Truly, we know as we imagine all the different paths possible and forward, may we take each other's hands, these paths of hope and beloved community, these paths of love, these paths of justice. And we dare to dream of these paths, and if they are not there, create them ourselves. Let us imagine how many paths forward there might be.
Our first reading is the Edict of Torda, and I know you all know what that is. It was a decree issued on January 28th, 1568, by King John Sigismund in Transylvania. The edict authorized local communities the freedom to elect their own preachers and affirmed that preachers could not be punished for their words. It was created under the counsel of Francis David, the king's Unitarian court preacher. It's 1568. The decree did not go so far as to acknowledge an individual's right to religious freedom, but it did sanction the existence of a radical Christian religion within Europe, and it's considered to be the first of its kind in promoting religious tolerance. So here it is. Put on your extreme listening ability, because these words are from 1568. So pay attention, and there will be a quiz at coffee hour. His Majesty, our Lord, in whatever manner he legislated in the matter of religion at the previous diets, in the same manner now, in this diet, he reaffirms that in every place the preachers shall preach and explain the gospel, each according to his understanding of it. And if the congregation like it well, or if not, no one shall compel them, for their souls would not be satisfied, but they shall be permitted to keep a preacher whose teaching they approve. Therefore, none of the superintendents or others shall abuse the preachers. No one shall be reviled for his religion by anyone. And it's not permitted that anyone should threaten anyone else by imprisonment or by removal from his post for his teaching. For the faith is the gift of God, This comes from hearing, which hearing is by the word of God. 200 years later, the second reading from the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, which was ratified on December 15th, 1791. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And then 200 years later, your third reading. From the comedian and brilliant cultural critic George Carlin, religion is like a pair of shoes. Find one that fits for you, but don't make me wear your shoes.
Up, I'd like to let you know that Scott invited me to sing along on Edelweiss. This is the first musical I ever did as a kid. I was in 6th grade, so. Anyways, this has a certain fondness to me, and you can sing along on the second verse here. I'm sure you all know it.
Just a second.
Yep.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play an introduction.
All right. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, you look every morning, you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Now join in this time. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
The first time I ever watched Sound of Music, I had no idea that the Nazis were involved in this musical. What a surprise. I thought it was just about this woman on a mountaintop singing to kids. But no, it's set in Austria, and at the conclusion of the musical, no spoilers, but they sing this beautiful song as they are fleeing Austria. And it's appropriate because our content today comes from that part of the world. If you recall, not personally, but in 1517, Martin Luther nailed the 95 Theses to the church door and started the Protestant Reformation. Fantastic, we say, because we are descendants of that Reformation. In fact, we're part of the radical Reformation that kept on reforming. But I get ahead of myself. So Martin Luther does this with those theses, and along about 20 years later, John Calvin writes on the Institutes of the Christian Religion. And this is a book where he sets out the concept of the Trinity and how the Reformation will engage this theological concept. So John Calvin writes this in 1536 about the Trinity. A guy named Michael Servetus reads that book, we assume, in 1537, because in 1538, he writes a book called On the Errors of the Trinity. Not a subtle title, Mr. Servetus. And so he writes his book, and he sends a copy of John Calvin's book back to John Calvin with notes in the side about all the things that he got wrong in his book on the Trinity. Well, John Calvin, being a person with a lot of power, didn't really appreciate that much and had Servetus arrested. He escaped, arrested again, and eventually burned at the stake for his beliefs in non-Trinitarianism. But Michael Servetus did amazing things for sparking the radical Reformation. These are people who thought the Reformation wasn't doing enough. It needed more Reformation. And so Michael Servetus's writings spread throughout Europe and Eastern Europe. And they were read by a guy named Francis David. Now, Francis David was this brilliant guy. He looked at pulmonary medical stuff, and he looked at theology, and he looked at philosophy, and eventually he was ordained as a Catholic priest, but he didn't really hold for the whole Catholic thing, and so he started exploring the Reformation writings and Calvinism, and so he became a Lutheran, and then he became the bishop of the Transylvanian Church of the Lutherans. Now, my colleague, the Reverend Eric Cherry, who led our international branch at the Unitarian Universalist Association for many years, he said that he would always kind of dance around this word. He would call it, the Eastern Europe descendants, but he would always hesitate to use the word Transylvania. And you can guess why, because it's hard for us to not get completely sidetracked when we hear the word Transylvania and thinking about vampires and Dracula, and we have Bram Stoker to thank for that. For some reason, he said it in that area. So get that out of the way. This is not a story about Dracula vampires, and they have no part of our religious history, except for the fact that they came out of the same land. So Francis David is reading Servetus, and he says, I think I like this guy's thinking better. Because they would read the scriptures with reason. And Servetus clearly said to John Calvin, the Trinity isn't technically scriptural. So our religion and our Christianity should be what we now call Unitarian, one God, not a triune God, the Trinity, the God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is what John Calvin was writing about. So Servetus writes his, Francis David reads his, he gets with his friend, George Biandrada, who is the physician, follow me, of King Sigismund of Transylvania. Being his physician and buddies with Francis David, he invites and convinces the king to have Francis David as his court preacher. Francis David has been reading a lot of Servetus and says, yes, I'll do it, but let's keep thinking about it because I think we're onto something here with this anti-Trinitarianism stance. And so they do what was really undone at that part. They invited people to talk about their differences. There were warring countries at this time on each side of Transylvania, but there were warring religions inside Transylvania. You had the Lutherans, you had the Calvinists, you had the anti-Trinitarians, and he gathered them all together, and they had a diet. Which is not to say they got together and watched what they ate, but they got together and had a conversation. And they did this over time, and at the end of the diet, King Sigismund decreed the Edict of Torda, which Marty read for us in 1568. And it's highly shaped by the thinking of Francis David, his court preacher. Francis David once wrote, "In this world there have been many opinions about faith and salvation. You need not think alike to love alike. There must be knowledge and faith also. Sanctified reason is the lantern of faith. Religious reform can never be all at once, but gradually, step by step. If they offer something better, I will gladly learn. The most important spiritual function is conscience, the source of all spiritual joy and happiness. Conscience will not be quieted by anything less than truth and justice. We must accept God's truth in this lifetime. Salvation must be accomplished here on earth. God is indivisible. God is one." With the exception of some theological liberties that he took, because he certainly was a Christian and a believer in God, Francis David sounds very much like a modern Unitarian Universalist. And so in this way, he influenced King Sigismund, who in this area soaked with violence amongst Christians over doctrine, he issued this radical new idea that preachers could be allowed to preach according to their own understanding, and as such could not be imprisoned or cast out or have any violence come upon them for what they said. Whew, good job, Francis David, from all of us ministers after you wrote that. We appreciate it. And indeed, in this faith, we have something called the free and unfettered pulpit, which means that Unitarian Universalist leaders are called to preach the truth as they understand it, which is what I try and do, and I, like Francis David, am continuing to learn and change my understandings and ideas. He believed that ministers and people in the pews should be drawing on their conscience, their study, and their calling without a fear of censorship from some outside body. Freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. We still use this idea very dearly from these ancestors of ours. The Edict of Torda declared that faith is the gift of God. You'll notice that he did not say that faith or religion is the gift of the king or of the state or of the majority political party or whoever is in office this given year or whoever is the loudest or has the most votes or has a hold of the cultural zeitgeist. He said faith is a gift of God. So the Edict of Torda wasn't perfect. It didn't go as far as we might like it. It did not have protections for Muslims and Jews. It was limited in its moral imagination, but it was a start, like David said, and it will continue to grow, and they did. But it was radical in 16th century Europe at this time, incredibly radical. And it created this groundwork that we still follow, that faith should never be, your beliefs, your ideas should never be the product of coercion. And this lies very well with our Universalist ancestors as well, who said that there is no hell and that the threat of hell is a really poor way to go about devising a belief system, but rather questioning and learning and growing as individuals. I remember when I asked my Presbyterian minister as a kid, what about doubt and what about all these questions? And he said to me, questions are great. Doubt is wonderful. It is a part of a faith journey. But make sure you end up right here after all that questioning and all that doubt. Make sure you end up at this answer. But we believe that human beings, as a part of our faith journey, need to seek and to question and to doubt and to listen and believe and shift and change over time. The Edict of Torda points to this deeper truth that religion is most alive when it is free and freely chosen. And so we find ourselves in a time where Christian nationalism is rising in this country, where people would have the religious choices of others made for them. Some would say that the founding fathers were deists and Christians, and this is proof indeed that we are a Christian nation. But it is actually proof of the opposite. They were deists and they were Christians, and even still, they said we must have separation of the church and the state. And so, after they wrote that Constitution, the First Amendment made clear that it is not the role of the government to make a religion for our country, nor the prohibition of the free exercise of the religions. The First Amendment. This balance isn't anti-religious. In fact, it's the opposite. It says that religion can be good and can be varied and serve all kinds of different people in different ways. When a government assumes a religious identity of its country, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to the country, and in fact, it's dangerous to the religion. When Christianity is used as a tool of the state, it starts to look a little bit more like empire than the teachings of Jesus. And that's part of what the danger is facing this country now. This is an era of a rise in Christian nationalism. It's not a fringe idea off in the shadows anymore. It's increasingly visible in public life, in political rhetoric, in school boards, and in the common culture. And it's not simply that this is happening, that Christianity should be practiced in public. Of course, Christians have every right to bring their values into the public, as people of every faith and no faith have. But Christian nationalism is something very different and more dangerous. And if you are a Christian, and some of us here are, this is and can be incredibly frightening. My clergy group is made up of 6 other Christians, and they are the liberal Christians here in Central Oregon. And boy, are they frustrated when they hear about Christian nationalism, because that is not the Christianity or the faith that they follow. But recent studies show that this matters because the Public Religion Research Institute, their 2025 American Values Atlas, found that 3 in 10 Americans qualify as Christian nationalist adherents or sympathizers. And the Pew Research Center found that in 2026, 17% of U.S. adults say the federal government should declare Christianity as the official religion of the United States, up from 13% in 2024. Pew Research also found that favorable views of Christian nationalism doubled from 5% in 2024 to 10% in 2026. So to be clear, not all Christians are in favor of Christian nationalism. But it does tell this false story that is refuted by the First Amendment, that this is indeed a Christian nation. I don't know if you read the news this past week, but our military has made a shift in its chaplain code book. There used to be 211 noted ways of being religious or thinking religiously. And the Secretary of Defense, or War, Pete Hegseth, changed it from 211 to 31. Most of those are Christian denominations. Notably missing in this list of 31 is Unitarian Universalism, an erasure of our faith, an erasure of ways people believe, and an inability for people to join the military and have it noted that this is their religious tradition and to have those needs met. There are many Unitarian Universalist chaplains in our military. But our First Amendment says that a Muslim child and a Jewish elder and a Buddhist neighbor or a Hindu family or a pagan seeker or a Christian mystic or a Unitarian Universalist are all welcome here in this country, and their beliefs should be honored. Earl Morris Wilbur wrote a 2-volume history of Unitarianism, which is where a lot of this history about Francis David comes from. And he, at the time of the writing of this monster 2-set book, boiled Unitarianism down to freedom, reason, and tolerance. And indeed, at the time that sounded great, but we know that tolerance is not quite far enough. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to pluralism. truly a pluralistic religion and truly a pluralistic society where people can believe different things and be free from fear of harm, both psychologically or to their bodies. And indeed, this is and needs to be true. We see at Pride yesterday, and this was lifted up by Blaine and Emily in our joys and sorrows and gratitudes, that there are kids every single day in this country who are scared, who are affirmed at Pride, who are affirmed by the belief that we need not think alike to love alike. At Pride, I offer glitter blessings, and one of the things I say is that you are a child of the universe, made holy and blessed and precious in your own unique way. It is interesting to me that no matter what you believe about God or not God, there is the truth that we all came from the same place and likely are returning to the same place after this strange, weird experience called life. And so we look to things like ancient proclamations, like the Edict of Torda in 1568, and we say, thank you, good people, thinking of these things over 450 years ago that slightly shifted the tone in the conversation in Eastern Europe, which would influence people who would shift and create a country in which the idea of religious freedom is paramount and central. It is deeply a part of our religious tradition and our country's heritage to be a place of inclusivity and a place of love. It is like George Carlin said, religions are like shoes. Find a pair that fits, absolutely, but you can't make anyone else wear your shoes. And there are lots of different shoe sizes and styles, and everyone is encouraged to find your own shoes. Or walk around barefoot if you want. That's fine too. But we want to be a people of this conscience that Francis David was writing about. Free conscience that is not coerced, and yet we still land in a place that affirms love and relationship and connection, with no fear of hell, and no one making us do it, and no state threatening us if we are not following their path. Indeed, it is one of our deepest truths. We want to live in a pluralistic world where difference is not feared, but it is celebrated, where power is not abused, but it is held accountable, and where no one is invited or asked or coerced to surrender their deepest truths for fear, whether those are truths about their religion, their path in life, their sexuality, their gender, all of these. This diversity and this pluralism is what makes this country and this very life beautiful. And indeed, it's what makes it all happen in a lovely way. For if we all thought the same thoughts, the one monolithic thought, we would not have life as we know it. And thank goodness we have this diversity of notes to play with, because with them we can create beautiful music that is positive, life-affirming, and creates things, these notes together, like affirming that it is a wonderful, wonderful world that we are a part of, and that dreams can come true somewhere over the rainbow. And since that is true, let us close our time together by hearing these two affirmational songs of beauty of this world, of our lives, and the wonderful, wonderful things that happen when we affirm pluralism and harmony and notes playing well together. We're going to not sing the last time.
Okay. Is there time to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Yes.
And a polka?
And the polka, yes.
Okay, I'll play I didn't do so high. I just tried Wonderful World the other day. And
Okay, just sit now.
I'll play a short polka once through, part through,
Yep, that sounds great.
and then I'll play
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Somewhere Over
Yes.
the Rainbow.
And then we'll we'll extinguish our chalice, and then we'll all leave. So don't be nervous. There's no closing hymn.
Nervous? No, I'm not nervous.
Okay,
No.
got it.
Okay, this is a short polka. It's a combination of Orange Blossom Special and Wabash Cannonball. I just have to play that. Oh, turn up the volume. You have the volume down, so if you hit a key by accident, it won't make a loud noise. Is that loud enough? A little lower.
Our postlude to send us into our day, and let's extinguish our chalice and say our covenant.
Be sure and have coffee afterward and say hi to somebody new, and then there will be a little quiz on the reading after that. We encourage you to reach out, meet somebody new, find out what they do, and start practicing appreciating them. Will you please remain standing, which you're not, but stand up. Would you please stand and join me in the unison reading of our covenant, a promise that we make to one another as Scott extinguishes the chalice. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Somewhere over the rainbow, dreams about another place that maybe doesn't exist yet. In 1538, people were thinking ideas that didn't quite exist yet, and they became true in time. So it is good to dream and do the work today that might create a different world tomorrow. May it be one full of love and love that we bring to it. Go in peace. Linda?